was told you were coming.
A slayer.
I'm self-stuck, rather like a cork in a bottle.
My ascension is almost here.
Jeez. I don't like vampires. I'm gonna take a stand and say they're not good.
You know I can.
It's fucking
I
fantastic.
love that sound.
The ice cream bar's this way.
Heidi ho, camperinos.
Oh, God.
Welcome to Beers with Buffy. Long time no see, kids. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex.
And boy, have we got a humdinger of an episode for you today.
I don't know that I would describe it as a humdinger.
Well, how the shit else are we going to make this an interesting episode, Rex? We're just going to have to lie.
Yes. Yes, we're going to have to lie.
So today's episode, we get to tell you all about it and how it was just the most fast-paced, endearing, heartfelt, deeply written, just, my God, the child actor that they have working alongside the master doesn't annoy me completely at all. He's not even slightly awkward. Not even a little. He's better than Haley Joe goddamn Osment. And nobody was even dead the whole episode before they told us.
Well, I was going to ask you for the mom synopsis, but I think that was it right there.
Yeah, I just accidentally did it. Yeah, well, we can just skip that today.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Joshua? There, I did the voice. You're welcome.
Oh.
So it's been a couple weeks. I think it's going to be a shorter episode than usual.
Yeah.
Rex has a surprise for us, apparently. I made him not tell me. I didn't have to try very hard.
It's not a surprise. I looked something up and did a little bit of reading on it, and it hopefully will fill out a little of this episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you didn't reveal to me what this topic is, so I'm looking forward to the impromptu thing.
It's not that exciting.
Okay.
It's more exciting, I think, than this episode was, but, you know.
What?
Before we start, did it feel like maybe this episode was not made by the same fucking people who made the last one?
I think they just took a few user comments.
This was in 2007 or sorry, 1997.
Email existed. There had to have been a bulletin board somewhere or something.
They got letters.
Yeah, like snail mail. So they answered some snail mail and said, "Fuck it, let's make an episode out of it."
Oh God.
Yeah.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Night, I shall walk in the earth.
Hold on. You've got something here, huh?
So, okay, we'll just start from the top here. It opens on the Master's lair.
It sure did.
And just from this point on, I'm going to say this now. None of these scenes are good.
Not even a little.
Not a one.
I found my mind wandering more often than not.
I checked my phone at least 4 times watching this episode.
I was just really admiring the Master's makeup job. It's like, it's pretty,
it is pretty good makeup.
Pretty decent film makeup.
But we open up to the Master sitting there with he's in his fucking throne with his hand out with some like stones in his hand, and the fucking kid is like throwing rocks into the fucking Hellmouth.
Is that what was going on?
I guess.
Yeah, I vaguely recall that now.
Like it. Jesus Christ, the Master's lair has got to be the most boring fucking place.
Well, you're not kidding. So we introduce. He's trying to kill Buffy. We must get rid of the Slayer, but how? Oh no!
Darla is like, oh, let me kill him, but he doesn't let her for some reason.
Please, Massa, let me kill him for you. We shall use the 3. Wait, what? Why haven't you been using them all along? So enter this 80s hairband Klingon fusion thing.
Hold on, we'll get there. I want to make note that I wrote "The Master is dumb" 4 times in my notes.
Oh, at least. I can think of at least one that I'm going to rail on when we get there.
Yeah. So he's like, send in the 3, and then it cuts.
Yeah.
It cuts to the fumigation party at the Bronze.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about? I didn't even waste too many brain cells trying to figure it out.
Apparently, the Bronze every year has a fumigation party where for every cockroach you kill, you get a free drink, and then they close down for like 3 days to fumigate.
Okay.
Apparently.
That sounds
I think I don't want to hang out at the Bronze anymore.
No. That sounds like a building code, a health violation nightmare.
Yeah.
For starters.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, there was this really cute girl who picked up a cockroach and looked like she was having a good time doing it. Excuse me?
Yeah,
I can't even. Moving along.
So the whole thing that I actually looked up, and I legitimately read into this and did some research.
Uh-huh.
And I have a question for you about this. Have you heard? And I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. It's like the Bechdel or the Bechdel test.
Huh?
Have you heard of this? Where it's a test to test whether or not a film or TV show is positive for women. So the whole premise.
Oh, is this our surprise?
Yes.
Subject?
Yes. So the whole premise of this Bechdel test or whatnot is basically
Bechdel.
The criteria is a movie has to have to pass this test.
Say feminist and enter.
Pretty much. So the movie or TV show has to pass this test by having more than one female character, and 2 female characters have to have scenes together where they don't talk about a boy.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Now, my question to you is, this show is supposed to be written by a feminist.
Yeah.
Who...
It's
questionable.
It's supposed to be all super, hey, we like vaginas, and not because that's where our dicks go much as...
there is not a single fucking scene in this entire episode where Buffy and Willow don't talk about boys.
Ooh, guilty as
here's
charged.
my question to you. Looking back at the past 6 episodes before this, how often do you remember them not talking about boys when it's just those 2 in the scene?
You know, now I kind of want to go back and check.
I don't think it's many.
It's not many. You're right. They do talk about boys an awful lot. And one of my main questions for this episode is, Willow, can you please get the fuck over Xander already?
Yeah.
How low is your self-esteem?
Also, nice guy Xander learned nothing last episode.
I wouldn't say nothing. Not absolutely nothing, but he did relapse a bit on the dick bag factor.
Oh, yeah. So...
Excuse me, may I rub my bag of
we
dicks?
We go into the Bronze, and Buffy and Willow are...
You give me blue balls here,
there.
man. I was trying to make a joke about a bag of dicks. Whatever. Just keep going.
So...
Blue balls.
God damn it, Josh. So Willow and Buffy are talking about boys. And
dudes.
Cut to Xander on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And he runs into Cordelia. And he legitimately gives a good burn to Cordelia here, because Cordelia is like yelling at him for stepping on her $200 shoes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, didn't she take an awful lot of time talking to him?
Yeah,
it's almost like I think the lady thinks the lady doth protest too much.
Yes, definitely. She
and then
seems
he calls
to be
her
making
a whore,
it a point,
like bluntly.
Yeah. He says, I don't think this dress makes you look anything like a hooker, like everyone was saying.
Oh, a hooker, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Same definition.
He didn't say a whore at all.
It's a pretty good burn, and he just beelines away immediately.
Yes. I liked the formula of the burn, not so much the content.
Right.
Yeah. Moving along.
I mean, it worked for 1997.
Yeah, exactly.
But they just, Buffy decides she's just sad because she doesn't have a boy and decides to walk home.
And Willow's like, what about Angel? And Buffy's like, you should hook up with Xander. I'm not sure why, but so he'll leave me alone. And, yeah.
It's hard for me to say anything cool or witty or at all. I can usually make a few vowel sounds and then I have to go away.
I don't mean to interrupt your downward mobility.
Yeah, you're the Slayer
I
and
just wanted to
we're
tell
like the Slayerettes.
Oh, please.
So Buffy leaves and starts walking home,
Yeah.
and she runs into the three.
Yeah. So,
Which, they look pretty badass, considering they're actually wearing, like, armor and shit, and they have, like, scars, and they're each missing an eye,
I mean,
and
they look like 80s hairband Klingons.
badass.
Which, I'm on board with that. Cool. Which begs the question, though, why the fuck hasn't he just been using these guys all along? Where the
Exactly.
shit did these assholes come from?
Exactly.
So, anyway, it looks like Buffy's actually in trouble for a second. I wasn't sure why she left the bronze so suddenly, but...
She left the bronze suddenly because she was sad.
Oh.
But here's the thing, though. These three jump her, and they just grab a hold of her, and she barely can fight back.
Yeah.
We have seen her go against worse odds than this.
Right.
And, like, there's no reason that she should need help with these assholes.
But they were wearing steel hockey pads. And that one dude's hair was so crimped.
So crimped.
So crimped. I can't even... Isn't I can't even just kind of the modern day equivalent of, well, I never.
It is, I think. If Cordelia was alive today, like, if she was a teenager today, she would say, I can't even.
I'm having very much difficulty executing an even.
Yes.
So,
So, Angel saves her from the three.
yeah, he doesn't jump in until after the opening sequence, though, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I thought the plot was about to get complicated for a second.
Right.
And they fight them off, and they run back to Buffy's house.
And she lives shockingly close to the bronze.
Shockingly close.
Like, they run for like a block.
Yeah, if that. But they both have supernatural speed. I mean, Buffy doesn't understand why he has supernatural speed. She thinks he's just some dude.
Yeah, she hasn't picked up on this yet.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Everyone in this episode is dumb.
I'm like, actually, that was one of my notes. I was like, wait, she doesn't know he's a vampire yet? God damn, how long is it going to take? Well, it turns out that's what this whole episode is
Yeah.
about.
And
By the way, we forgot to introduce the title of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody take a wild guess now. What's the title? It's Angel.
I didn't actually look it up.
It's Angel. It's
Yeah.
just Angel.
Dude, they did not have enough fucking interaction in the 6 episodes that they had to warrant this episode.
Yeah.
They did not, there isn't enough foundation to warrant this episode at all.
Nope.
And it shows.
But they shoehorned it in there.
Every single time they're on screen together, it feels awkward.
I don't know. Their kisses were pretty steamy. I'm not going to lie.
That's it. Like, anytime they talk to each other, it's awkward, dude. It's fucking awkward.
They're teenagers. Well,
He's 200 and something.
I mean, in real life, though.
He's 20 something.
It's like, hire a small child and put them on camera and have them not be awkward. Nobody has pulled it off yet. Not that I've ever seen.
So they run into Buffy's house, and I love how, I don't know if you noticed this, but they did a very poorly, like, voiceover dub where you hear Buffy invite Angel in like a hurry. She says something along the lines of like, "Quick, come inside." And like that's how
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. And it's like it is unquestionably was not heard in that scene at all. They went back and they're like, "Oh my God, she never invited Angel in."
Mm-hmm.
And so Angel's cut, and he of course immediately has to take off his shirt.
Like, it's not even that bad of a cut.
No.
I was like, really? You're bitching about that? You're not even immobilized even a little.
No. And then immediately after she like eyeballs him and his muscles.
Was he muscular? I didn't notice,
Not,
Rex.
not overly. I mean, he definitely wasn't fat. He looked better than me without a shirt on.
Well,
But that's not saying much.
you said it, not me.
Hey, I'm being honest.
Oh, we missed...
What did we miss?
Angel had the stupidest opening line when he jumped into the fight.
Oh, God.
I couldn't... He said, good dogs don't fight. Or did he say bite?
He said bite. He said
bite. Okay. I couldn't...
But the audio was shit.
I didn't give a fuck. I was like, that's dumb either way.
There's a lot of moments where the audio is shit in this episode.
Uh-huh. So...
It's just a bad episode.
Oh, also, so, like, her mom, Buffy's mom catches her with Angel in the house. The dumbass just walks up to her and he's like, hey, it's like, couldn't you tell Buffy was trying to cover so that we wouldn't have to deal with her mom knowing that there's a boy in the house? And so her mom goes to bed anyway, and then she fakes Angel leaving, and then they try to, like, synchronize their steps going up the stairs by
Like a herd of
stomping
fucking
really
cows
loudly.
up the steps.
Elephants.
Oh,
But yeah,
my God.
a large mammal of sorts.
Like, you have the Slayer and a vampire, and neither of them can sneak around a fucking house.
Seriously, it's like stomp, stomp, stomp. Okay, this is fantastic.
And so they're in Buffy's room, and it's immediately Buffy is super awkward.
Uh-huh.
But in a way that she should be awkward. Like, the awkward that she's portraying in this scene is actually, like, good awkward.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, goodness, there's only one bed and two of us.
Oh my, whatever shall we do? No.
And they quote, slightly argue about who's going to take the floor.
Yeah.
And he's a perfect gentleman and takes the floor.
So, blabbity, blabbity, yabbity, yabbity. She's like, why do you fight vampires? And he's like, oh, you know.
They killed my family.
Yeah. Oh, your family's dead. Oh, no. And
It happened long ago.
Yeah. I think he says something about being older than her.
Yep.
I don't know. Not a whole lot, but they hint at a few things that we figure out later this episode. He sleeps on the floor, doesn't try anything. So we reconnoiter in the library.
And then I wrote, oh, hi, Mr. Nice Guy Xander. We
Yep.
didn't miss you.
Welcome back, dickbag. I think all I wrote was, Xander, shut the fuck up.
Hey, got your steak. Hey, got your steak.
Yeah. There was a really good couple of lines here between Willow and Giles,
Oh, do tell.
which there are not. It's going to be slim pickings this episode to get a fucking quote of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this line was Giles is talking about the three.
Uh-huh.
And Willow looks at him and says, you always know what's going on. I never know what's going on. And Giles responds with, you weren't here from midnight till 6 a.m. researching. And she says, no, I was asleep.
Yeah, I caught that. It was a subtle little Willow moment.
Two comments about this, though.
Yeah.
One, no, Giles never knows what's going on. Buffy always knows what's going on.
You're right.
This is one of the few times he does actually know what's going on.
They must have caught that and been like, let's change that. If there's anybody who should know what's going on.
The second thing is, when did he find out about the three?
Yeah.
If he was there from midnight to 6 a.m. researching, when the fuck did Buffy call him and say, we got attacked by the three?
She sure as fuck didn't text him. You know what didn't exist back then?
Texting.
Texting. Huh.
Like, how does he know?
I think she telegraphed him.
Horseback courier.
Finally, a form of communication that I can understand.
But this is the stupidest fucking thing here is Xander oh my God, immediately is like, you should stay at my house and we'll tell Angel that he needs to get out of town for his safety.
Oh yeah, the whole scene started with, wait, he slept in your room and in your bed? And she's like, no, beside my bed. And I'm just like, why did she tell him? Like, sounds like too much information, first of all. And could he be any more transparent? And could she be any more just thoughtlessly forgiving of his behavior?
Very.
Like, this is also, his behavior is so normalized.
It's really kind of is.
It's gross.
It's really starting to piss me off, actually.
Even Giles isn't like, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
A, the girl's not into you. B, the girl's not into you.
And it only shows that Xander is just that fucking stupid at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the last thing that is said in this is Giles is like, oh, I don't think we'll really have to worry about the three too much because they will give their lives over to the Master for their failure.
You cut to the lair where the Master is murdering the three. Or rather letting Darla murder the three because they failed at their task.
Yeah, and like he's talking about first off,
yes,
I don't get the dynamic that the Master has with this kid. He's like, is he like teaching the kid? But then there's certain bits where the kid is like, we should do this, and like
but the kid has
giving guidance to him.
Supposedly has all of this innate, like. What happened when the kid died and came back? Is it not a kid? Is it
he
a kid?
Vampire?
Does he have like the soul of an ancient something or rather?
During the scene was the first time I noticed that there's a little bit of like effect done on his voice. Like,
yeah.
Did you
I
notice
that at the end of the episode?
Yeah, I never picked up on it before this. And
I'm sort of ethereal reverb.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And
all I could think was like, well, no wonder this motherfucker's stuck underground.
Yeah.
You're just frittering away your resources on nothing.
They failed once.
Well, how did they even fail? They're not dead. They know where Buffy is.
She ran into a house. What the fuck do you expect them to do? Yeah. They can't get in.
How is this failing to the point of needing to murder them? Like, these guys are ancient. You don't think that something similar might have happened at some point in time?
Shit. God.
The dumbest plot point and the most wasted, like just as wasted as the fork guy from a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
It's like, it was such a,
And, like, one of the, like, they try to write it off as a bit of humor too, because he's like talking to the kid, and he says, "I'm weary, and their deaths will bring me little joy." And the kid's like, "So we'll spare them?"
Yeah.
And Darla ends up killing him, and just as she starts killing him, he says, "But of course, sometimes a little is enough."
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a pretty good line.
It was a good moment for him as an actor.
Yes.
He pulled it off.
An awful moment for the character and for the plot.
Yeah.
Because no wonder you've killed all your fucking minions, dude.
Yeah. It's like, you don't fucking deserve the title of the Master at this point. You're just a fucking dipshit. And anybody who's following you at this point is a bigger dipshit. So, yeah.
So then it's time for weapons training.
It came out of nowhere. Right. Why the fuck is Giles even bothering? He doesn't seem to know shit about fighting.
No, he does not.
It's like, wait. You have to close down the library during school hours to do this?
First off, why the fuck are you even doing it during school hours?
Shit.
But I find it hilarious that the whole fucking scene up until the point where Buffy kicks his ass, and she does kick his ass
very quickly.
He's like, you have to learn the basics first, and this will take hours and hours and hours of training.
And he just starts like swinging a stick at her.
Well, he's like, put on your pads, and she's like, I'm not wearing pads to fight you. And he says something along the lines of, "Oh, we shall see,"
Yeah.
and then proceeds to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's all I wrote about this scene. I said, G gets his ass whooped. That was it.
It is a little bit funny though, because she picks up the crossbow in the very beginning of the scene, and she's like, I want to use this." And he's like, "That's too advanced."
"Oh, Buffy, we must learn the basics first." And she knocks him down once, and he's like, "Right, onto the crossbow." No. It was a bit British, wasn't it? He didn't say that. But it's in our opening theme song, and I really appreciate that.
There's a reason why you're here. The reason why it's now. There's a reason why you're here. The reason why it's now.
And awkwardly, all of a sudden, it's the end of the fucking day,
Yep.
and we go to back to Buffy's
It
house.
was the most shoehorned in scene.
Yeah.
Hey, back at Buffy's house.
Which Angel has been at her fucking house in her room all fucking day.
All day? So my question here was, wait, how did he avoid the sunlight?
Yeah.
Which is answered later in the episode. I'm not going to say anything right now. I'm going to save the punchline. So whatever, Angel's in her room. Did they even talk about anything?
She thought for a moment that he read her diary, but he did not read her diary.
Oh, yeah, the diary thing.
And she was rambling on about how
She's like, A doesn't even stand for Angel, and oh, that's so intrusive that you read my diary, and like, I didn't even want to kiss you. And he's like, I didn't read your diary. Your mom came in and cleaned some stuff while I was hiding in the closet, and she moved your diary. And she's like, oh, well, that's awkward. And then he's like, ooh, I really want to kiss you. And then they kiss, and
then he vamps out.
They did actually look like really good kissers. I'm not gonna lie.
They definitely seem to be enjoying themselves.
They did, yeah.
Which good thing, because they're probably going to be doing that a lot.
Yeah, and I was like, how does she not know that he's a vampire yet? Does she, it's
so for some reason making out with Buffy makes him vamp out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because he was fucking with the curse, because he was toying with having a moment of happiness. Like, we know that the curse is, if you're ever happy again, you'll lose your soul and you'll go back to being just a demon.
Do not spill your beer.
I almost spilled my beer.
But he vamps out and she screams. It's not even a really good scream.
It was a bad scream.
And he jumps out the window.
They should have rehired the locker room girl from the first episode.
Oh, yeah. So he jumps out the window.
Just to come in there and scream for her.
This is my favorite part, though, is he jumps out the window and slides headfirst down the roof. Like a fucking slip and slide.
And it's like, wait, but your mom's in the house. You know she's going to hear you scream. Were you even really that scared, Buffy? I mean, sure, you were just making out with him, but are you that surprised? It was just... It's just one of those episodes where I think Joss was like, fuck, I need to figure out where the rest of this is going. You guys write something real quick, and I'm going to go sequester myself.
This was definitely like
the damp underground layer.
C team. This was the C team. Because it wasn't the A team. It wasn't even the B team.
Yeah.
This was the C team. Because it's not a well-written episode, it's not a well-shot episode, it's not a particularly well-acted episode.
Speaking of A, B's, and C's, I've noticed something fun this episode.
What?
Is that almost all of the characters, especially the main characters, I just noticed this taking notes, they all have names that start with different letters, which makes it really handy for taking notes. But then you think about it a little more, hold on, and we've got A, Angel, B, Buffy, C, Cordelia, D, Darla. And then we skip to the end of the alphabet, and we've got X, Xander, W, Willow. They're all sequentially alphabetical names.
That's weird.
And then we've got, Luke and the Master and Giles crammed somewhere in the middle.
Your whole method just broke down.
Yeah, the whole thing just broke. But they all have names starting with different letters, though.
I am now ashamed that I have been writing actual names in my notes.
You don't need to. You're welcome.
I'm probably still going to write.
Congratulations. So what happened next?
They're back at the school. It's the next day, and fucking nice guy Xander. So Buffy's telling the Scooby Gang about how
it doesn't
Angel
make sense.
It doesn't make sense
That he
he's
didn't
a
attack
vampire
her because vampires are just demons.
And Xander through this whole scene is like, well, he's a vampire. You know what you have to do. You have to kill him.
Xander mansplains for a moment.
Oh my God.
And
more importantly, Willow is like, oh my God, Buffy, you're upset. And like being a good friend. And Xander's like, well, time to kill him.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
And of course, Giles,
time to
being
get rid
an
of him,
idiot, is like, yeah, Xander's kind of right.
And
you are the Slayer.
With the amount of information they had, Xander wasn't wrong and still managed to be a dick about it.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. It's a fucked up situation. That's no lie. But why do you have to be an asshole?
Well, it's because he was like, oh, thank God. Now I can rightfully claim your vagina.
I guess. It's fucking awful.
And then Cordelia has the most useless almost interaction with them, where we think that she's overheard Buffy talking about a vampire. Or no, Xander saying vampire, and he replaces it with umpire, which I thought was frankly a good cover.
Yeah.
But it turns out she's just Irma Girding about somebody else's dress because it's the same as hers. And
she thinks it's a knockoff.
Typical shallow Cordelia moment. And
the scene ends with Buffy going, and I thought we had problems.
Yeah, they found a way to make this show formulaic in as little as 7 episodes. So, luckily, we know they break out from that later.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we're all here, still doing this.
You mean besides me? No, I didn't ask. You mean besides me? Do you believe? I didn't ask. We have to achieve our dreams, otherwise we wither and die. We're going to the other cool place in Sunnydale.
So
we go from there to
Angel's apartment.
Place. First off, where the fuck was he? Because we see him coming home, and it's shown that it's daytime.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. I was like, where was he hiding in her place when it was daytime? Because, okay, spoiler alert, Darla shows up in his apartment.
Darla is at his apartment.
She's like, well, he's like, well, I'm not one of you anymore. And she's like, well, clearly you are. And rips open his window shade. And he hisses at the sunlight and goes, and she's just standing there in the sunlight. And then
she's under the sunbeam.
She's under the sun. Okay, I can forgive that. But he just stays in the sunlight, and it doesn't actually do anything to him.
Now, I don't know if it, like, maybe it's not perfectly direct sunlight or something, but it
shouldn't have hurt him at all, because he looked like he was in pain, and then he's just like, oh, I'm adjusting to it. Like his iris is
why would a
contracted
vampire
or
have fucking windows that can open?
Yeah.
Open so easily that she just like pulls a cord.
You know, they're pretty fast and loose with the vampires and sunlight rule in the whole canon of the show. If you recall, I think it's around like season 5 or 6. Spoiler alert, jumping way ahead here. But there's an episode where Spike is driving his car.
Right.
And it's fully daytime, and he's got all of his windows blacked out, except like this one tiny hole in the front of the window. And I'm no.
And it makes... Yeah,
that's not a thing that you can do as a vampire. First of all, you'd get pulled over immediately.
And for some reason, in this scene, Angel does not kill Darla. He lets Darla basically talk shit at him, and then she leaves.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the library where Xander's still basically pushing for Buffy to just outright kill Angel.
Well, I guess you're going to have to kill him.
And fucking Giles really stepped up his game in this episode, because all of a sudden, not only does he know where Angel came from, but he knows a good amount of detail of like where he was from, when he was turned, like how he rampaged across Europe and when they even know when he came to the U.S.
Oh, now that you mention it, yes, Angelus has been along quite some time. Been around for like 240 years. Yes. Oh, that Angelus.
And it's so handy that Buffy got to see him without a shirt on to see the tattoo on his back because
because he had a scratch on his torso.
There's a lot of shoehorn of information in this episode that it's just like so fucking unnatural that it's like.
Wasn't it convenient that we were there to get all of that unnecessary information? It seemed superfluous at the time.
I just wrote, cut to Master's lair, the Master's an idiot, and I wrote nothing else. I don't know anything else about the next scene.
I said, Darla and Master an awkward-ass kid. Darla plans for Angel to kill Buffy,
yes.
Contrived self-preservation, something yada yada. That's literally what I wrote. Because that was the scene. Like, the Master was talking to Darla, and she's like, oh, but this isn't a problem at all, because the Angel will kill Buffy. The Master's like, are you giving me orders now? Wait, do you have a plan? It was such a weak moment for everybody.
The first scene we get with these characters is him saying, no, Darla, you can't do your plan. We're going to send in the 3. Then the 3 fail. And then the next plan is, since they failed,
murder them.
Since they failed, you can kill them, Darla.
Yeah.
And then Darla's like, I have a plan. And he's like, oh, fuck you. You can't tell me what to do. Oh, wait, you have a plan?
Go on. You know, the sign of good management is being able to take ideas with grace.
Yeah.
Without being a dickbag about it.
And, you know, accept that maybe sometimes your people will fail because no one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No, kill the failures and fuck your guys' plans.
You should definitely just knock off your A-team here because you have a reputation to keep up.
Exactly.
Underground with this small child by yourself. Nothing weird going on here.
So we go back to the library. It's the library at night.
Yeah.
Buffy and Willow are trying to study history.
And then they do nothing but talk about boys.
And then they do nothing but talk about boys. And
Darla's spying on them.
Which is completely fucking pointless.
Yeah.
I guess it was just to, like, show that Darla knew when Buffy was going to be home, I guess.
Well, and it kind of filled in a minor plot hole with, she was like, oh, well, he's going to kill Buffy. Angel's going to kill Buffy because Buffy's going to try to kill him. And I was like, how the fuck are you going to make that happen?
And in the next scene is when she makes it happen.
Yeah, so she starts fucking with Buffy's mom.
She gets invited in by lying to Buffy's mom that she's a student teaching Buffy history stuff.
Which was kind of a brilliant little ploy.
Yet she gives her actual fucking name, which is stupid. If she didn't give her name, that would have just added confusion.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, then Giles wouldn't have known later who it was.
Exactly.
You're right.
And first off, her plan here is flimsy as fucking hell.
Oh, absolutely.
And should not have worked.
No, not at all.
All of a sudden, Angel just happens to be at Buffy's house at the exact right time.
Yeah. Had this timing not gone down just supernaturally perfectly, there was no plan. So apparently her plan was this. I'm going to get Buffy's mom to invite me in, and I will attack her. And then Angel will show up there, and he will be so viciously hungry for a human that he will have a moment of weakness, and he will hold his mother in his arms, and I will leave, I will just saunter out the back door, and Buffy will come in at
the exact right time.
At exactly that moment, and see him there, holding her body, and it will be a Shakespearean-style misunderstanding, and Angel will not be able to explain it away, and
it
will definitely...
And it somehow fucking works.
And he will definitely have his vampire face at that moment.
And then Buffy throws him out the window.
I feel like he jumped out the window.
No, I'm pretty positive.
More sense,
I'm pretty positive because he goes out backwards.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive Buffy threw him out the window.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
I like the idea of him being thrown out a window because that's one of my favorite words, which is defenestrated.
Defenestrated.
Yes.
He did.
He got defenestrated.
Thank you, bored linguists.
Hey, got your steak. Hey, got your steak.
So
Buffy calls an ambulance, and Xander and Willow show up because obviously they have trackers.
They have impeccable timing. Always.
Like, I don't even understand why the fuck they showed up. Why the hell did they even have them written into the scene at all? They could have just had them at the hospital because Buffy would have called them to the hospital.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did...
There was absolutely... Now that you mention it...
There's no point.
I didn't even think that far into it, but shit, you're right. Why did they even show up at all? They didn't
They said, like, one word, and it was akin to, what happened? And that, like...
Yeah.
It does nothing. It adds nothing. It just makes it more weird that these people are following Buffy around like fucking children.
Yeah. And then, so cut to Giles at the hospital already, where Buffy's mom, who's already awake, is like, wait, who's this?
I wrote hospital in my margin to note that that's what the next scene is. I literally didn't write anything for what happened in the hospital.
I've got G shows up, awkward. B beats herself up about A. Buffy beats herself up about Angel. And is Giles wearing an ascot? I couldn't tell if he had like this silky scarf thing going on.
I don't know.
I mean, he is British.
He is British.
That'd be totally...
It would be acceptable.
In character, and that, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a little fashionable regardless. But... unless you're Cordelia, and then that's just not okay.
Yeah, no shit.
So it was either an ascot that wasn't tied properly, or it was just a tie that he had around his neck and he had untied it because he's not at work anymore. Fuck this shit. Anyway, just thought that was funny.
What annoys me is the bit here at the hospital.
Yeah.
So Buffy's mom says your friend, and
nobody says wait.
Buffy even says my friend, and then her mom doesn't repeat herself or anything, and Buffy doesn't press.
Nobody presses.
Like, no one.
It was a big old stinky plot hole.
There's plenty of them in this episode.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a scene back at Angel's place.
It's like the whole show's anus just opened up and let out a big old silent one.
It wasn't silent enough. We still had to listen to the episode. But Angel and Darla are back at Angel's place, and Angel still doesn't fucking kill her.
Yeah.
Like, he even pins her against the wall, and she's like, oh, you're hurting me, that's good.
Yeah, they built a little bit of kinky sexual tension.
Why doesn't he just fucking kill her? It's the stupidest fucking thing ever. And then, so Buffy
they revealed, I mean, to be fair, they did spend some time revealing a little bit of their history. Like, they go way back, apparently, but she's really just a butthurt ex-girlfriend. She's just jealous of a high schooler.
Yeah.
Basically. Because her boyfriend, who isn't her boyfriend, she's literally not even the same person anymore because he got his soul back.
Yeah. He can't be, he's not, they're...
Yeah. And she's trying to talk him into being evil again.
Everyone in this episode is dumb. Everyone in this episode is dumb.
Absolutely everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
So Buffy goes and gets gear.
She gets the crossbow,
and then shoots the crossbow at a poster. And I have to mention this poster.
I did too.
This poster is captioned "Smoking sucks," and it has a super sexy model dude with no shirt on with a cigarette in his mouth, and it's like that poster is sending mixed messages.
Very mixed. You're not wrong.
And the other thing is why is that poster in the library?
Was she in the library?
That's where the weapons are.
I mean, we never did find out why Giles needed to fill
man.
the position so quickly. What happened to the previous librarian?
Maybe he smoked. The logic here is stupid. Big surprise with this episode. Buffy's logic here is that Angel must live by the bronze, so I'm going to go to the bronze, and he'll be at the bronze.
Yeah.
And he is at the bronze. Why?
Who knew? Everybody, because it was in the script.
Apparently, they had the script handy.
How did we know where to stand? Somebody told me.
Angel's an idiot, too, because he doesn't take any moment whatsoever in with this confrontation with Buffy to try and explain anything to her before she is about to kill him. The only reason... So they fight a little.
Yeah, a little.
And she gets thrown on the ground.
She misses on purpose, inexplicably.
The point is, though, is like Angel has plenty of opportunity to explain himself before she fires, and she purposely misses. And that's the only reason he's alive. And then he decides to fucking explain to her that Darla bit her mom.
Yeah, the whole thing made no fucking sense. I was like, wait, does he want to die? Is he trying to let her kill him?
And he's like, he's talking like, because she says something along the lines of, she calls out his name or whatnot, and he's like, oh, you're hunting me like an animal. I'm an animal, right? Why are you egging her on like this? You're trying to kill yourself.
I
what the fuck?
I think he was just trying, because he knew Darla was there, and he's apparently leading Darla on because he has some plan to kill Darla later, and it hinges on her thinking that he's on her side again, inexplicably, suddenly, after, a century of not much left here, to be honest.
Not really. We do get kind of a clever line from Buffy when, because Angel says, "Oh, it's Darla that did it," and Darla shows up.
Oh wait! There was another line that I had marked as a quote of the day.
Okay, go ahead.
Before that,
she hasn't had one yet.
He says the thing about an animal, and she says, "You're not an animal. Animals I like." And okay, that was a halfway decent burn, but
she even says to him, "I've killed a lot of vampires. I've never hated one before." And his response actually is pretty decent too, because he responds with something along the lines of, "Feels good, doesn't it? Makes it simple." And it's like, no, he's obviously like trying to encourage her to be cold and vicious to vampires.
Yeah,
but it's like you're doing it wrong because you're
and I don't even remember what he said, but there was, speaking of mixed signals, like this whole episode, that poster was the poster child of this episode. Fuck-a-doodle-doo. Because he suddenly threatens her again. He's like, I'll tear you apart or something. She sets down her fucking crossbow and walks right up to him, and she's like, yeah, do it. I'm like, what?
Because obviously all of a sudden she trusts him now.
You're calling his bluff now all of a sudden.
There's a reason why you're here. The reason why it's now. There's a reason why you're here. The reason why it's now.
So then Darla shows up. She says, well, that's the saddest thing in the world. And Buffy responds with, what, bad hair on top of that outfit?
Yeah. She wasn't wrong.
No.
Oh, man. I mean, okay, Darla does not look young enough to pull off being a high schooler.
No,
to
she
be
does
fair. Not. I feel like Buffy's mom should have said something about that.
In Buffy's mom's defense, if you look at most of the kids that Buffy goes to school with, they all look mid-20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Darla doesn't fuck around. She pulls out guns.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Oh, it's so stupid.
I mean, the thing is the actress herself obviously like did not have any like gun training.
Absolutely
like,
none.
The whole scene with her using the guns feels awkward. She does not look good using the guns.
Yeah.
It looks weird and off.
So I don't remember at all what Darla said. It was fucking pointless. And then we have the most ridiculous start to this even more ridiculous fight scene. First of all, Buffy just somehow stomps on her crossbow and it
Kicks
just
it up
flies up into her hands.
Like a skateboard kicks it up into the air and catches it.
She just stomped on it. Like, there's no part of that you could have gotten that kind of leverage.
No, definitely not.
How the fuck did that just happen?
Darla's like, I have guns, and pulls out 2 guns.
With the dumbest one-liner ever. She says, scary. Pulls up the guns. Scarier. And I'm like, oh no, a vampire with guns.
And so she shoots like 2 or 3 times and hits Angel once. And that is literally the most successful shot she's had. She practically unloads these fucking guns and hits fucking nothing.
Fuck all nothing. Like, even Giles and Xander and Willow weren't really that scared of it.
No. And of course they've shown up at the bronze, and they are up in the fucking rafters.
Uh-huh.
And this is a kind of funny bit because
so they were at the bronze. I didn't realize that all went down at the bronze.
They showed up a little bit late. They ended up going to the bronze because Buffy's mom mentioned Darla to Giles, and Giles is like, "Oh shit, we got to tell Buffy. We don't want Buffy to kill Angel for some reason. I don't know why Buffy or why Giles all of a sudden cares about Angel.
I don't think it was so much that he cared about Angel so much as he knew something was fishy.
Oh, so yeah, they show up at the bronze, and they're up in the rafters, and this is actually kind of clever because Giles and Xander are like, we need to figure out some sort of distraction, and Willow just yells to Buffy, "Hey, Darla bit your mom, it wasn't Angel," to like distract Darla.
Yeah.
Fucking guts there, Willow. Damn.
Right?
I mean, she didn't know that Darla couldn't hit fucking anything with her guns.
Uh-huh. Wait, oh yeah, so I was trying to say, I don't think it's so much that Giles cares about Angel all of a sudden, so much as he could tell something fishy was going on, and it was kind of important information that Darla was in Buffy's house and was the one who attacked her mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. That you're right.
Yeah.
It's important to know that Darla is sitting on an invitation into Buffy's house. That's good fucking knowledge.
Problematic at best. But, spoiler alert, Angel kills Darla.
Yep. So, I actually forgot Darla died.
She didn't even turn into ash. She turned into, like, bubble tea.
I thought she stuck around a lot longer.
I did too.
I thought she was even into, like, maybe even the second season.
Yeah.
But
I think we're confusing her with a different character.
It's possible. Also, there are flashbacks that have her. So maybe that's what confused me about
maybe
it.
Maybe it's possible because the Master gets super pissed that she's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Somehow, even though the only witnesses to her being killed are Angel,
yes.
Buffy, Giles, Xander, and Willow, somehow the Master knows that she died, and he's super pissed.
Uh-huh.
Which, why the fuck is he so angry? He's been killing his minions left and fucking right.
Left and right. And she's clearly a lesser minion.
Yeah. Like, he... this whole everyone is dumb. Everyone is dumb. And this is when the augmentation on the kid's voice is the most noticeable.
Yeah. It's like they tried.
And even then, like,
they tried, kind of.
The really creepiness of the scene of, like, the kid, like, puts out his hand and the Master, like, grabs his hand and he, like, helps the Master up, and they, like,
oh, they had a moment.
Trot to the goddamn oh, it's fucking wrong, man.
Yeah. Somebody give Nambla a call. I think they're missing a member.
Is this from me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Night I shall walk the earth.
Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
So we go back to the bronze, and the bronze is open again. They're having like a post-fumigation party, and Buffy's like, "What's the difference?" And Xander has a decent line, and he says, "Hardier cockroaches." But
cockroaches.
Of course, Angel's there.
Of course,
this is a little bit of a cleverness in the writing because Buffy is like, "Oh, I haven't seen Angel."
They gave Willow a cute line.
Yeah, and because she says something along
Didn't
the
make
lines
the episode
of,
worthwhile, but
No.
it helped.
she says something along the lines of, well, maybe he's watching you, like right now, like he's over there.
Yeah, like, no, actually, he's watching you right now.
And of course, in the bar, he's in the creepiest dark corner he can find.
Yeah, like staring at her through the slats in a set of stairs.
Oh,
she
man.
turns around and looks, and he's
So
gone.
they go out to the dance floor, they dance like ever so briefly, and then they kiss. And then the fucking last line Angel says is, it burns, and it shows that he has the cross that he
Her
gave
necklace.
Buffy burned him. And
Like-
I have to note that not only is, I don't know about you, but when I kiss someone, my chest isn't necessarily touching theirs.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. Well, I mean, my thought was, well, her necklace must have been swinging forward.
He's taller.
Yeah, so
He leaned down.
That doesn't make any sense either.
It doesn't
You're
make
right.
like.
But it was,
maybe if he hugged her, but he didn't hug her in the scene.
yeah.
And even so, it's high enough up on his chest that she's not tall enough to have done it. They just, like, the rest of the fucking episode, it puts the punctuation on it that they failed to take into account a lot of fucking logic.
Or burned him by osmosis. And boy, was it sure clever that we thought they were talking about it being emotionally painful. And then, he was just actually being burned by her necklace because he's a vampire.
Fuck this episode,
Yeah,
man.
apparently the Christian God is...
Fuck this episode. I don't
In her
like
necklace.
it. I think it's a shitty episode. I think it is unquestionably the shittiest episode we've seen yet.
Surprisingly,
I
even
think
though
this
it
will
gave
be-
us the most exposition about a character
That's the problem.
that we
though.
had a
That's
lot of
all
questions
it
about.
was. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And what little hints that we had gotten about him before this wasn't enough to build a whole fucking episode on.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, like, some of this exposition should have happened previous to this, but it didn't. It just made it where all there was to do in this episode was to be exposition.
They could have worked it in somewhere, but yeah. No, they just shoehorned it all into one episode.
They could have had a secondary fucking plot line that actually made sense.
Yeah.
Like, make the three actually fucking be a thing through the whole fucking episode.
Yeah, no, that definitely would have made it 1,000 times more
No,
interesting.
don't fucking show us these pretty badass fucking looking vampires and then kill them before you reach the fucking halfway point.
Interweave it a bit with, yeah, if they had just stuck with the three being an actual problem throughout the episode,
Yeah,
while
rather
they
than
exposited.
one half-assed fight.
Yeah.
Oh, this whole fucking mess just pisses me off. And
Gosh, Rex, tell us how you really feel.
I am. Well, like, there's not much humor in this episode.
No.
Not the kind of humor that we like. There was more humor in the episode where a bunch of kids fucking cannibalized the goddamn principal. I mean,
So here's my question. So now we know all this shit about Angel. How does he remember what he did before he got his soul back? How the shit does that work? So now he has to why does he even feel guilty about that?
like, yeah, why does Angel rephrasal? Why does Angel's soul make him feel guilty about things that his body was done, that the demon made his body do while there was no soul?
Yeah. He should just be like, even if he does remember all of those things, he should be traumatized, but
Yeah.
there's no amount of guilt that should be attributed to that.
Like,
Oh no, you got murdered at some point, obviously, by Darla.
because the way Giles explains the whole becoming a vampire thing, he explains it as the vampire kills the person, the soul goes away,
Yeah.
and a demon takes up residence.
Yeah.
In presumably the same fashion that there was a soul in the body.
Yes.
So, since the gypsies gave him his soul back, the soul is just sharing space with the demon.
Yeah, so the demon's still in there, I guess.
And this hurts my head.
Hey, got your steak. Hey, got your
So, what are your thoughts coming out of this episode, Rex?
Fuck this episode, man.
Fuck this episode hard.
do you even have a quote of the day?
Not really.
I don't either.
I always write down "gur arg" at the end.
Yes.
I feel like that's pretty solid.
Yeah. We haven't talked about that yet, actually.
I missed one of my quotes of the day from the very beginning. It's actually a Xander quote.
Okay.
They were at the Bronze, and he sarcastically says, "Let's stop this crazy whirly gig of fun we're having here. I'm dizzy." And it was pretty solid.
Yeah, because I mean,
wry and sarcastic
Buffy's
delivery.
super fucking mopey at this point. She's mopey through the whole fucking episode.
So that was fun. Did you have a quote of the day?
Not really.
Stick with us, kids. We're having a great time here.
When we started this, like in our first and second episode, we had decided that this show was so fucking quotable that we would find something every episode.
It's going to bounce back. We knew the first season was shit. We just didn't know that the first season, most of the shitty was one episode. Don't jinx it, man. We still got 5 episodes left?
We have 5 episodes. You are correct. 5 episodes left.
5 more season 1 episodes.
Maybe they just felt that the last episode was so fucking good. Oh my god, we can't have an episode that good.
I don't know if it was that good, but it was one of the better.
So far, it's been my favorite episode this season.
No, I agree. Certainly in comparison.
Unquestionably,
I think we're gonna feel a lot better about the show in its entirety once we get much deeper.
Yeah,
much.
Dude, at the rate it's going, at the rate this season is going, it makes me really question how this show ever got contracted for another season.
Well, it's because it was girls talking about boys constantly.
Apparently.
And passing itself off as feminism, while Xander was a whiny little bitch. That's how they got the male audience. If there was one.
I find it interesting.
I didn't start watching it until after I graduated high school, which was after the show finished airing.
I didn't actually. The first time I watched it was the year after the last season.
Yeah, me too. So like the exact same time.
Yeah. The thing about it is watching this season, it makes me really question and kind of look back at this day, the age that this show's from in the late 90s, and wonder how this fucking rated as feminist.
I mean, I think it was pointed out to me, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but that Willow may or may not be one of the first lesbian characters on television.
I don't know. I'm going to look into that.
We're going to need to look that up, because if that's true, then holy shit, we're just living in the dark ages here.
Yeah.
I think. That's how this qualifies as feminism? So I think we're going to end up eating our words. I think it gets way better. And
if I remember right, the climax of the season is at least good. I hope it is. But this episode is fucking trash. And you know what? I decided halfway through watching this episode that I'm never going to watch this episode again.
Yeah, one dead fish and a big airy fart. And yeah. That's my quote of the day.
Yes. There's your quote of the day.
There's my quote of the fucking day.
On that note, we'll call it.
This has been another episode of Beer with Buffy. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good day.
See you next week or something. Do we do this weekly?
You are the Slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the Slayer.
Go ahead. Prepare me.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Common sense. Common sense. Werewolves. Incubi. Succubi. Everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One gal in all the world.
Common sense.
One gal in all the
Common
world. All
sense.
the world. All the world.
It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Whee!
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?